capital and largest city of the country of Wales. That's right, folks. ARP finally made it to the great nation of Cymru. Cardiff is a vibrant cosmopolitan hub, being the most populated place in Wales. As you'd expect, it's full of attractions, new and old, as well as being the home to 4 major universities. In 2010, the PRS called Cardiff the second most musical city in the UK, with artists and bands hailing from the city such as Charlotte Church, Shirley Bassey, Kids in Glass Houses, Shakin' Stevens, Manic Street Preachers, and Bullet for My Valentine, whose tears don't fall. It's clear Cardiff has its fair share of musical talent, but I wonder, what's the Welsh capital like for street entertainment? Do the folk in Wales appreciate a street musician or two? Well, folks, there is only one way to find these things out. Woo! That's right, here's how I got on busking in Cardiff. Now then, welcome to Cardiff, capital city of the great nation of Wales. This is technically the 3rd country I've ever busked in. England, Germany, and now Wales. Currently stood in the grounds of Cardiff Castle, which apparently is like 2,000 years old. That's freaking old. Although Cardiff is technically the smallest city in Europe, did you know that? It's still a city. And city busking, it can go either way. It could be a product of big city syndrome, where there's simply too much going on, and as a busker you suffer from too many attention-grabbing things. Or does its smallness, in regards to its size compared to other European cities, mean that it won't be oversaturated? I don't know. There's plenty of busking real estate here from what I can see anyway. And yeah, ready to get my first Welsh busk on. So whilst I try and figure out where I'm going to set up this morning, I'll leave future me to go through the guidelines with you. Over to future me. The guidelines for busking in Cardiff. Back in 2018, Cardiff City Council nearly went down the route of making street entertainers audition for a license to busk in the city centre. Fortunately, the council decided to reverse this decision after council leaders said they'd like to encourage more music making in the city. So this means that busking in the centre of Cardiff is simply a matter of being familiar with the council's voluntary busking guidelines, and these apply specifically to the city centre itself. I did see online that if you want to busk down on the Mermaid Quay waterfront, then this requires some kind of prior approval. Lucky for us, Cardiff city centre is where my day of busking took place. So let me take you through these voluntary busking guidelines. The first page of the document is just a bunch of wordy paragraphs that talk about what busking is, what it means to have voluntary guidelines, and why they made them in the first place. Office bureaucratic stuff. Not that interesting, if I'm honest. So here they are. Number 1, select your pitch carefully. Essentially, don't make decisions that disturb residences and businesses, you know, standard stuff. Number 2, respect places of worship and look out for ceremonies that might be taking place. Number 3, their recommended time per pitch is 90 minutes. Not too bad for a council recommendation. Number 4, busking hours are between 10 AM and 7 PM. Number 5, amplification needs to be kept at a level that is suitable for street ambience. Number 6 essentially says exactly the same thing. Number 7, keep the backing track lower than your vocals or instrument, which is like basic sound engineering advice. Number 8, do not repeat the same material in the same pitch. Number 9, members of the public and businesses should wait for a gap in between songs before they approach buskers to raise issues. So this is a point that isn't actually for buskers, I guess. It's for the outsiders. I don't necessarily mind being interrupted mid-song, but it does make a great point. I do always appreciate it if someone is going to chat to me and they wait till I've actually finished. You know, respectful. Number 10, keep your pitch clean during and after your performance. And number 11, just be mindful of fellow humans. Easy, standard and fair guidelines, I have to say. Nice one, Cardiff City Council. I also like that we're reminded that these are in fact voluntary. They're not the rules, they're the guidelines. So in the following part of the video, I will go through some recommended busking pitches. So let's get on with my day in Cardiff. If you ask me, the locals here are well aware of their typical weather, which is rain. Come to Wales, expect it to rain at least once. It looks like here on Queen Street there's a fair amount of shelter that you could sit up under if it was to rain. Luckily for me, there isn't any rain forecast, and it looks like we might even have blue skies. Good times. Okay, so I think I'm going to try here on Queen Street first. Seems to be the busiest place on a Sunday morning in February in Cardiff city centre. One major advantage of it being a city though is it's already busy. Plenty of people are going to hear August Radio Project today. Spot number one. For spot number one, I decided to set up on Queen Street. This road is a long stretch of pedestrian-only shopping area, lined with your most classic and popular high street retail outlets. And you could feasibly set up anywhere along this road. I decided to go outside the carousel opposite M&S. I've seen videos of folks setting up here, usually outside the lamppost that is in the middle of the street, but I decided to go against what used to be Topshop on the side of the road. When it comes to a long road that is buskable kind of anywhere, I'd say your best bet is to usually set up near the junctions of other roads. Maximum foot traffic flow, if you ask me. Or go outside what are usually the busiest retail stores. So M&S usually being your busiest one of any high street. There are also other factors to consider. For example, other buskers that have already set up, charity workers, preachers, market stalls, and of course, our old friend, construction. So, taking all of this into account, it usually becomes clear where the best place is to set up. Things in Cardiff started a little slow, which is pretty typical for a Sunday, but after a short while it soon picked up, especially as I kind of settled into my new Welsh surroundings. 12:15, quarter to midday, and it's looking good. It's looking good. It's picked up, the energy's good, I feel comfortable. I met two people who follow me. They came over and they were like, we've been following you for a while. I didn't get it on film. I'm a bit miffed that I didn't get it on film, but shout out to the two people that came over. So rad. I always post where I'm going on Instagram and wonder if anyone's ever going to show up. It doesn't happen that often, so when it does, it's like, it's really cool, man. It's good to know there's faces behind these numbers sometimes. Whilst in spot one, I didn't see any signs of any fellow street musicians. It seems strange because it was a relatively pleasant weather Sunday in the capital city of Wales. I wonder where they were. A couple of things I really like about this spot particularly is that there's benches in front of me which people are sitting on, and they're sitting on these benches and watching. They get like a place to perch if they want to listen in, which is cool. But yeah, it's going all right. It's going all right. I'm pretty happy with it so far. Just hope it doesn't rain. After a while of playing, the donations had been flowing in. So had the smiles, the compliments, the overall attention. There was even folk that were sitting on the benches opposite to listen. You know, take the time to actually see what I was up to. It became very clear that Cardiff is a city that loves a busker and knows exactly how to behave around one. So I better hold it on you, yeah, yeah. Oh, it's super busy here now. Dang. That's spot one then. You know, I was just thinking about how rad it is that you can kind of just rock up and busk in this city. This is a capital city. Like, how many capital cities are this free for busking? Like, there's no licenses, there's no pitches that are specific or anything. It's all like free for all, you know? And it's a capital city. Like, think of like London. London is full of licensing and areas you can't busk. Think of Edinburgh. Like, from what I'm told, it's still a lot of restrictions. Think of somewhere like Paris or Vienna or even Berlin. Like, these are all capital cities and they're full of rules and regulations, and this is just kind of like set up where you want. That's awesome, man. This, right? I've just walked down the entire sort of stretch of busking real estate here in Cardiff, the capital city of Wales, and I haven't seen any signs of any other buskers. I think I might be, August Radio Project might be the only busker in Cardiff right now, in the capital city of a country, of Wales. That's bonkers. So I think the choice is mine where I go next. Might need to go somewhere with some shelter because it is spitting a bit. Spot number one there was good. For a capital city, for a city in general, I would call it a success. Total donations were £47.52. They kind of came in chunks. I apologise for the wind. But yeah, it was good. It was a huge success. I think total time in spot number one was about three and a bit hours. So I've got another hour to hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours in me. It'd be great if we could get the similar sort of total in spot two as well. But yeah, rad place, man. I like Cardiff. Dang. So this is where I was told to go. And if you look at this spot on Google Street, there's a busker in it. So it must be all right. That's my ARP logic anyway. Let's go here. We did just have a light smattering of rain, but it seems to have stopped. So hopefully that's it for the rain today. I always like spot two if spot one's gone well. Spot two is always way more fun. Spot number two. For spot number two, I used the good old Google Maps, Google Street trick. When I'm researching a place, I quite often go on Google Maps and look at Street View, and there is no better sign of a well-trodden busking pitch than when you see a busker set up in the pitch on Google Street View. For spot number two, I set up on the Hayes, where it junctions with Hill Street, right outside the one and only TK Maxx. And just as I got set up, I was confronted by that traditional Welsh weather. Like, within a minute of me playing it, just chucked it down. Chucked it down. Proper rain. But it's going better here than it did in the other spot, if I'm honest. We were already got donations flying in, and people are definitely taking a bit of pity, I think, on me and getting wet. So We'll see, shall we? As Luke Combs says, when it rains, it pours. Certainly true for Wales. The Hayes is another bustling pedestrian-only shopping area, and again, anywhere along this street kind of seems fair game for busking. But to save you a little time, if you ever find yourself in Cardiff, here are some of the good-looking busking pitches, according to me. ARP. So the junction between the Hayes, Caroline Street and Mill Lane. This looks good, and if it was me, I would literally set up underneath the ring sculpture, you know, for aesthetic. Anywhere on St Mary Street looked good. I'd probably go for outside Pop World, opposite Tesco Express, maybe outside Betfred, that kind of area. The junction of the High Street, St Mary Street, Key Street and Church Street, the crossroads, should I say, that looked very good and had plenty of foot traffic on the day I was in Cardiff. I've seen a video of a busker set up on St John Street where it meets Working Street outside the tree with the bench backing onto the church. This also looks like a very cool spot with plenty of foot traffic. And of course, as I've previously mentioned, anywhere along Queen Street, fair game. Okay, instantly this place feels like it knows exactly what busking is. Queen Street, don't get me wrong, felt like that, but this is like donation every song, sometimes 2 per song. That dude that spoke to me earlier that said you should come here and you'll clean up, clearly knew what he was talking about. It's just a shame that it keeps raining, but the sky's blue now, so we should be okay. I have had some friendly conversations with strangers, but I keep not getting them on camera. Just know that I'm having a good time. Spot number 2 was incredible. It was literally incredible. The overall reception, the kind words I received, the good chats I had with strangers, the overall friendly Welsh vibes, and the donations. The donations really were flying in, even compared to how they had in Queen Street. It's funny because a dude I met in Queen Street had recommended me to go to this TK Maxx spot, saying that I'd probably have an even better time there than I would in Queen Street. He said that the type of busking I was doing was very suitable for this area. But because things were going well on Queen Street, I didn't move too hastily. But he was certainly right. Things were really good here on the Hayes. Maybe if I'd moved sooner, I would have had an even more successful day in Cardiff. As I came to finishing up in spot 2, I was stoked on how my day had gone, even if I had got a little wet in the capital of Wales. I don't know whether it's because I got rained on and then it became sunny. I don't know whether it's because I've been busking for 4 hours. I don't know if it's because I've got to the end of the day in Cardiff and it feels like it's been a successful day. Although I'm not sure how many donations I've had in this particular basket. It just feels like it's gone very well. My voice is also really resonant and it's sounding really nice. Feels like I've hit the busker's high, well and true. All those things in combination, I think, have caused this moment of euphoria. It's the moment that I do this for. Feels great, man. Right, one more song here. We're gonna wrap it up. It's been 2 hours here, so over 4 hours of busking today. Wild. Well, other than having a very wet case, and therefore a guitar inside a wet case, for my walk back to where I'm staying, I am feeling good, man. I am so stoked on my day in Cardiff. Ah, Wales, I've got a good feeling about it. What makes a city good for busking? What's the difference between the cities that are not so good and have the big city syndrome versus the cities that are good? Like here, I am so stoked. Spot number 2 there, that was a really good spot. It was a really good spot for what I do. I think people were enjoying it, and for the 2 hours I played, I made £53.06. Can I hear a 3-figure klaxon, please? Yes. It's been a hot minute since I played a place for the first time and made 3 figures. Wild. Cardiff. Rad City. My old band played one of their biggest shows here in Cardiff at the Cardiff University's Freshers' Ball. We somehow got the opening slot for Professor Green, the rapper. And it was a completely sold out Freshers' Ball. And we opened it and everyone thought we were celebrities, and it was one of those weird moments where the perception of us was that we were really famous and everyone wanted an autograph and photos. Dang. Anyway, it's not time to reminisce, it's time to focus on the moment. And right now is a very good moment. I'm going to hand you over to future me to round off this video, and just know that Wales, so far so good. Over to future me. Cardiff! What a way to begin my first ever busking trip in Wales. A big city that clearly doesn't suffer from the big city syndrome that some well-populated places do. It's even cooler that it happens to be a capital city too. It seems the sort of place that really knows how to appreciate a street musician, and for that, man, I appreciate the place right back. If you are a busker that frequently plays in Cardiff, be sure to leave a comment below and let us know what it's like, and also include any other details that I might have missed in this video. If you liked this video, then please give it a thumbs up. If you're new around here, maybe consider subscribing. Turn the notifications on, especially if you're someone that wishes to know where I'm going next. As I've said, I'm posting this on the community tab here on YouTube, but sometimes this doesn't always get seen by everybody that follows this channel. But if you have the notifications on, it will literally come up as a notification. It'll be like ARP posted a community tab. If you want to give me an online donation, you can use the super thanks button, and if you have a little more laying around, I have a Patreon where I post exclusive content. Links are in the description below. I also have a merch store where I'm currently selling a creative notebook, the first ever official piece of ARP merch. Currently saving the money I get from these to print some stickers, which should be up very shortly. Other than that, have a beautiful rest of your day. And remember that I'm August Radio Project, and I make videos that come out every single Monday. Until the next one, peace, love, and happiness. Good on yous. Good on yous for getting this far.